It was a quiet morning on the streets of Denver. The sun's rays barely illuminated the sidewalks as the city slowly awoke. Suddenly, local news outlets began to chime in. Pit bulls banned statewide, a controversial breed that divides opinions. What started as a local ordinance in some cities across the United States has turned into a wave of bans and restrictions that now affects the entire country. But how did we get to this point? What has led an entire breed of dogs, with thousands of fans and defenders, to become the target of strict bans in numerous cities?
To say that people are very frustrated and angry would be an understatement.
The truth is that pit bulls have carried a difficult reputation for years. For many, they are seen as violent dogs, an image fueled by a series of tragic attacks that have left several people scarred for life. According to recent data, over 430 people have lost their lives in attacks related to this breed in the United States over the past 20 years. These figures are heartbreaking and have been used to justify laws that now prohibit the ownership of pit bulls in cities like Denver, Miami, and Cincinnati.
We've had other families that tell us that they were going to move to town and then they found out about the pit bull ban, and so now they have to find a different solution to where they're going to live.
Even in 2020, Denver temporarily reversed its ban, only to reinstate it months later after a fatal attack reignited the debate. Stories like that of a 5-year-old girl attacked by a pit bull while playing in her yard have filled headlines, reinforcing that negative image. It was an attack that shook the nation and resulted in a tragic loss. Such events fuel fear and distrust towards the breed, while the affected families struggle to understand how something like this could happen in such a commonplace environment. A mother, in tears, recounted how her son was attacked without warning while playing in a park. He was just playing when the dog appeared out of nowhere. We never imagined something like this could happen, she recalls. But behind these figures and the laws that have followed them, there are also other voices demanding to be heard. Protests soon emerged. Thousands have taken to the streets to defend their pets, urging authorities to reconsider these bans. Animal rights groups argue that a dog's behavior is not determined by its breed, but by how it has been raised and trained. Pit bulls are not the problem, they assert. The problem is how people raise them. These campaigns aim to educate the public about the importance of proper training and socialization for dogs from a young age. Experts agree that while pit bulls can be powerful dogs, they are not inherently aggressive if given proper care. However, fear and negative headlines continue to dominate the debate. Over the years, numerous cities in the United States have implemented what is known as breed-specific legislation. These laws not only prohibit the ownership of pit bulls, but also impose hefty fines on those who fail to comply. In some cases, authorities have confiscated dogs from their owners, and in more extreme situations, even ordered the euthanasia of the animals. Cities like Miami-Dade in Florida and Ontario in Canada have maintained bans on pit bulls for over a decade, and penalties for those who disobey these laws are severe. But not everyone agrees with these bans, and many have taken their fight to the courts. In some cases, they have temporarily reversed laws, as happened in Colorado. But in many others, the laws remain firmly in place. In Maryland, for example, a 2012 court ruling classified pit bulls as inherently dangerous dogs, meaning that owners of this breed faced additional legal liability.
A horrifying dog attack caught on camera in Texas. Shantae Wright Haywood pulling her 2-year-old son CJ from the jaws of a stray.
And I couldn't even process what was going on in the moment. I just knew I had to get him from under the dog.
The dog running at CJ as they were leaving their home before Shantae scoops him up and spins him away. The dog keeps lunging at the toddler, chasing the pair right up to the front door.
In the event of any incident, this ruling was overturned in 2014 after significant public pressure and an intense legal battle. But the stigma surrounding pit bulls persists. For some, the ban affects not just the dogs, but also the families who consider them an essential part of their home.
I feel like it's not a just law, that the way that it's written is about power and control. It's a matter of opinion, 100% opinion based on characteristics. You can't look at a dog and decide what it is.
Many pit bull owners recount how these dogs have been loyal companions and protectors of their children. Rocco has been part of my family for 6 years, shares a young father living in a city where pit bulls are banned. He's a dog like any other. What matters is how you raise him. Due to these bans, hundreds have had to move to other cities or states where no restrictions exist, just to keep their pets. It's not fair that we are forced to separate from our dogs, protests a woman during a march in Chicago. The stories of families torn apart by these laws are as numerous as the stories of tragedy.
I felt it was pertinent for me to help raise funds and help them with their mission.
On social media, the debate has reached unprecedented levels. Videos and posts about pit bulls fill platforms, some showing loving and well-trained dogs, while others capture terrifying images of attacks. The division in public opinion is clear.
We are just completely swiping the board clean of this breed and saying that it does not even have the right to exist.
Those in favor of the ban argue that while not all pit bulls are dangerous, the risk of an attack occurring is too high to ignore. In response, breed advocates insist that the ban does not address the real issue: the lack of education on how to properly raise and train a dog, regardless of its breed. The controversy has grown to the point where some local governments have opted to conduct exhaustive studies to analyze the impact of these laws. But results are often mixed, further complicating decision-making. Moreover, the emotional impact on owners cannot be ignored. In many cases, pit bulls are considered family members, and the possibility of the government confiscating a dog simply because of its breed is devastating. People have been forced to fight not only for the rights of their pets, but also for what they consider their right to decide what type of animal they can have in their homes. For some, the situation has escalated to the point where they have turned to specialized trainers and lawyers in an effort to prove that their dog poses no danger to the community. The future of these bans is uncertain. While some cities continue to tighten their laws, others are beginning to reconsider them. What is clear is that the debate surrounding pit bulls is far from resolved. Is it fair for an entire breed to pay for the actions of a few? Each year, new research on animal behavior provides more data to the debate, which could change public perception over time. However, for many, pit bulls will remain a misunderstood breed, while others will continue to view them as a danger that must be controlled. The conversation about pit bulls in the United States continues, with one foot in the fear of attacks and the other in the hope of responsible coexistence between humans and animals. The story of this breed in the United States is not written in black and white, but in shades that reflect the conflict between tragedies we cannot forget and the love many feel for their pets. What will the future hold for pit bulls in the country? Only time will tell. Perhaps one day, fear and prohibition will give way to understanding and education, and pit bulls will be able to walk the streets without being feared or pointed at. The battle for the future of pit bulls in the United States has sparked an intense debate that divides the nation. While some call for strict bans, arguing that they are essential to protect their communities, others defend these animals, asserting that the true roots of the problem lie in the responsibility of their owners. Pit bulls, often stigmatized by an image of aggression, have become the target of numerous legislations aimed at eradicating their presence on the streets. However, stories of loyalty and love emerge from families who consider these dogs as essential members of their homes. The reality is that each attack, each incident, fuels fear and perpetuates a cycle of distrust toward a misunderstood breed. As cities weigh whether prohibition is the right answer, the fight of advocates for education and responsible training continues to grow. Is it fair for an entire breed to pay for the mistakes of a few? What is clear is that the future of pit bulls and their owners remains uncertain. The conversation about these canines continues, generating a vital debate about rights, safety, and understanding. What do you think? Should pit bulls be banned, or should they receive a second chance to prove they can be loyal and loving companions? The answer could define not only the fate of a breed, but also the nature of our coexistence with animals.